Come on, get some burgers. But we got to make sure you believe in free speech first. Yes or no? So white people can say, you got to, come on, if you believe in free speech, it's free speech. You don't believe in it? Come on, here. You got to tell me, yes or no? Yes or no? You believe in free speech?
Free speech.
Yeah, like people can say what they want in America, free speech.
It depends on what you say.
When white people say yes or no?
No. Come on, come on, bro. We passed that.
Free speech.
You brought up the wrong way. You was taught the wrong way.
No,
so
free speech.
You come on, no. Say something else better than that, bro. Don't do that.
So the First Amendment says you can say whatever you want.
But you know what we went through. Don't bring that back up.
I don't know what you want to do.
Chud the Builder is screwed. You have W supremacists coming out and disassociating themselves from Chud the Builder. They want nothing to do with it. Now, a lot of them going around saying that racism no longer exists. They want to do everything based off of your merit. There's no such thing as race. You can't do things based off of race. So they're not trying to play the race card. But when you got a person like Chud that's going around walking up to black people, antagonizing them, calling them the N-word with a firearm on them and mace, and harassing people, right? They're not with that. They say, oh, that goes against our narrative. That's not the image that we want to put out in 2026. We still control things institutionally, systematically. We don't have to be overt like that. We can do things behind the scenes. But Chud is exposing what America really represents, because a lot of people got behind it. But now there's a lot of people saying, no, he ain't no friend to us. And they're explaining how Chud will be treated behind those walls. There's a lot of white supremacists saying, listen, suspected white supremacists are saying that, listen, man, we take out our own in here, man. You come in here and rock the boat, and we trying to keep the peace, to keep people alive, and you come in here with that foolishness, bad things are going to happen. So some of them are talking like this.
Sometimes booty dogs are just gonna be booty dogs. And they might just tear this spicy up. This saltine souffle calls himself Chud the Builder. And Chud might be on his way to prison. Chud's life in prison is going to come down to 4 scenarios. Number 1 is PC, or protective custody. Sometimes protective custody can be ad-seg, which really sucks. That's administrative segregation. But there is no way his sociopathy and his ego will allow him to stay in PC. Number 2, he goes to Gin Pop, he keeps his mouth shut, he's a good boy, he does his time, and he goes home. That ain't never gonna happen. Number 3, he gets bent over, beat up, or taken out by somebody who really wants the perceived credibility. Number 4, and in my opinion, the most likely scenario, one of the white gangs, could be a faction of the Aryans, could be the Peckerwoods. They're gonna recruit him because he's gonna need protection. And now that he's raised almost $250,000 on Give, Send, Go, they know he has money. And most likely, they'll exploit him for it and then turn him out, because white trash is white trash. Anyway, that's if he gets convicted and sent to prison.
So you have W supremacists telling you what his own people is going to do to him. They don't see him as an asset. They see him as a liability and a problem. So now they're going to come out against him, and he gave all the scenarios on, you see the names he called, all the scenarios on what's going to happen to him. Now you have lawyers, right, even coming out, separating themselves. Now we see the situation in the Rick Childs, Cyrus Belton case. We've seen the Carmelo Anthony case and how W's are all drew a line in the sand, right, and they standing firm, riding with W with their people. But when it comes to Chud, no. Listen to how these attorneys are talking.
I thought like Jack Doherty and people like that were sort of sneako, were like kind of as bad as it could get. But the truth is, like, no, the bar can always go lower. The more publicity, what I would say is, the more publicity that's on this case, the worse it is for Chud the Builder. Because
they want to make an example.
He is I mean, it's like the prosecutors are going to want to make a case of this and make an example of it. And this is the kind of thing that happened. I mean, the stuff that happened to Anatoly, in wherever it was, Thailand or the Philippines, that was largely a function of the fact that he had a media presence and they were watching and they said, okay, we got to make an example of this guy. So that you don't want to be a person who's like, hey, we're going to put an end to, you know, this inappropriate IRL streaming, this nuisance streaming. We're going to tell people they can't do it anymore. We're going to make an example. You do not want to be made an example of in the legal system. It is especially the criminal legal system.
But my God, as an outsider, I hope it is. I mean, I feel, how did we get here as a society? Because I know, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, but the fact that this guy will scream slurs in people's faces, and there is an army of people defending him and supporting him, it's like, boy, this is bad even by modern standards.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought like Jack Doherty and people like that were sort of sneako, were like kind of as bad as it could get. But the truth is, like, no, there's always, the bar can always go lower, you know, and I think, you know, this kind of rage bait stuff, it's the algorithm doesn't know. Like, it doesn't, all it knows is engagement. So if you comment that you love me or if you comment that you hate me, it's just engagement. That's all the algorithm knows is, hey, this is making people feel something.
So they don't want nothing to do with Chud. Nothing to do with Chud. Now, Chud is in jail, and Chud, man, it don't look good for Chud at all. But these guys, these W supremacists that's been in the system, that talks about the division between the blacks, the Hispanics, and the whites, right? And they said when he come in there, they found out that he got money. The Peckerwoods or the A Beers, they gonna take him up under their wing, and he gonna have to pay for protection, right? He said, listen, what they do to their own is vicious, man. So a lot of these guys, man, you know, they throw rocks at the penitentiary, trying to be racist, trying to be a W supremacist, man. And this guy's saying this.
And in prison, Chud's gonna be a June bug. I can tell you that now. They ain't gonna pick him up. He's got too much and too many enemies. They gonna make him pay for protection though. They gonna protect him. They gonna be clicking $200, $300 a week on cash out to whoever decides to take him under the little there. And he might even sleep under that bunk. You don't never know. I mean, it just depends on the camp he goes to. I mean, hey, look, it happens, you know. But he gonna have to pay. They ain't gonna pick him up. I can tell you that now. We don't do that disrespect. And politics is a fine line, and we don't cross it. You do that, you can get wet, and we ain't gonna do nothing about it, cause you did that to you. We ain't gonna have it go to a war. You do something like that, you out to dry. Respect is everything to every man, and everybody needs to know that. Last post I made, I was talking about Chud the Builder and his lack of respect for anybody, really. Color to begin with, like, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, so I was talking about prison politics. Now, for those of you that don't know prison politics, if someone like Chud the Builder gets in there and starts calling people the N-word, hard R or not, starting causing chaos. Now, you think those white guys are going to protect him because he's their color? That is not the case. They will kill quicker than a yard. He will be that is, and a lot of y'all don't know this, but we you know what I'm saying? Like, if it for the sake of the peace, for the sake of everybody else's benefit, our own kind, if we have to keep the peace is everything. Nobody wants war. It's a lot of bloodshed. Wars inside prison is horrific.
So even those of you that keep talking about freedom of speech, right? He has the freedom of speech, and he gets a self-defense clause. There's W attorneys that's even breaking this down and says, no, we don't. Because again, they don't want to be affiliated with him. They don't want anything to do with him. They're willing to sacrifice Chud, right, for the greater cause, for the greater good.
All right, we have the Chud the Builder arrest affidavit. I'm going to explain what happened factually and why Chud is totally screwed legally. I've trained a lot of people in self-defense, both in a civilian and military context, and I've litigated this issue several times. This is actually pretty straightforward, okay? We have 3 distinct wrongful acts by Chud the Builder. Number 1, he starts a verbal altercation with a random person on the street, probably using a racial slur. Apparently he was on a stream because he's a scumbag and he likes to do that, all right? Number 2, because he started that verbal altercation, he had no right under Tennessee law to use force in self-defense. He lost the privilege to do so unless the victim used deadly force against him, but that never actually happened here, okay? He pulls out a gun and points it at the victim. At that point, it's the victim who has the right to use self-defense, okay? So let me walk you through that again. He starts a verbal altercation. The victim responds with only words, not force of any kind. Chud has no right to use self-defense at that point as far as pulling out a weapon. He does so anyways, committing a felony assault, or in some states known as felony menacing. If you point a gun at someone and you don't have a privilege to do so, that's a felony. That's a crime, okay? So that's mistake number 2 by Chud. Then the victim uses self-defense as he's, privileged to do in this situation, and then Chud commits attempted murder. So what you have is this cascading situation where Chud screwed up 3 different times, and he's totally screwed. The guy's going to prison exactly where he belongs.
So as you can see, they calling him a booty dog, and the saltine soufflés are coming after him, man. Chud is crazy, man. Like those same people, man, that he was repping, they coming for him, man, because they see weakness. He can't defend himself. He's going to need somebody to defend him and take care of him. That's going to cost him something. That's going to cost him his case, right? He's going to meet Johnny Man Opener in jail. Yes, he's going to be in there with Brock Backshots and Johnny Man Opener. He's going to be in a cell with Johnny Man Opener, and he's going to be a W. Yes, Mr. Man Opener. That's who he's going to be in a cell with. And this is what they call a saltine souffle, right? Man, this stuff is crazy, man. And this is coming from his own people, not me. This is coming from his own people. They are pro-W supremacists. It's not me making it up, not hate speech, no nothing. They're telling you what's going to happen, right? And they're telling you that, he doesn't have freedom, he doesn't have the right to self-defense. He surrendered that and gave that up when he chose to carry on the way he was. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. Y'all think he gonna be in a cell with Johnny Man Opener? Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. And remember, I love y'all. Till next time. Peace.